And we're back to another episode of Let's Play Final Fantasy 1, or Final Fantasy, however you want to put it. I'm your host, the RPG Guy. We are all leveled up. We're just grabbing the last two spells we need, which is Esuna and Fear. Vox is debatably relevant, and the reason why I'm not gunning for Vox, the spell Vox, is, yeah, it cures Mute, but you have currently two characters. You only have one character you could possibly use it on, because if your White Mage gets silenced, you know, well, he's not. That character's obviously not using, you know, Vox. And really, that's just the way that that's gonna go for me. And Esuna we would use very sparingly, if at all, because yeah, we have a nice supply of antidotes. So I'm not too worried about it. So let's continue on here, because we've got a dungeon to tackle, which the first big dungeon in this game. Well, this is technically the second dungeon. Astos cast a curse on our prince 5 years ago, causing him to fall into deep slumber. What can lift this curse? What could lift it indeed? Astos stormed in one day, cast a curse on our prince, and emptied all of the castle's treasure vaults. Douche. So if we really want to know more about Astos, that asshole, which I keep pressing everything button-wise wrong to get the map up here. Just move it out of the way there. Astos's castle is that red dot to the northwest. So it's a little out of the way, but we'll make a trip there even though we don't really need to right now. We'll do it for laughs. Because that's the only information you're really given is to a degree is that you need to talk to Astos, who's put a curse on the elf prince for, you know, reasons. Alright. So technically you don't, if you know what to do, you don't have to one step into a battle. Technically if you know what happened, you don't have to do this. If you're blindly playing, you do need to go visit Astos and kind of figure out what's going on. And as you can see, we're pretty sturdy now, which is great. So and Astos doesn't live in the nearby vicinity either, by the way. I also picked up, by the way, just to throw that out there, I picked up more potions. I picked up more antidotes. I picked up about the same amount of tents. I picked up 2 cottages, for those restore MP, as well as HP. So I picked up 2 of those. They're pricey at $3 grand a pop, so I only bought 2. And we bought some gold needles that cure stone. Not that I think that'll be an issue, but it could be. We now got to make our way north, and we're gonna burn through some stuff to do this. Some of our items, because we're just gonna run into enemies who sometimes will poison us. You know, I know we got a long way to go to get there. Debating on just saying we'll meet you guys there, but at the same time, I feel like you want to know, so. Okay, so we've made it to Astos' place, or his dump, as one would say. So just to give you perspective of where we are on the map, we are here, and we had to travel south and east to get there. Or I'm sorry, Elfheim is south and east. So when we traveled, we had to actually go west through a little valley, and then travel north to get there. I figure it's just easier to explain it this way than it is to just do it, you know? And then make you sit through, like, random battles. Because, you know, random battles are pretty high in this game. So let's talk to Astos has taken all that belonged to this castle. Please go to the cave in the southern marsh and find the crown. Only the crown can restore this castle. Okay. And yeah, we can't do much about the room with chests over there right now, so don't worry about it. I mean, it's just there. So, we now need to get the crown. Well, the crown is in the Marsh Cave. The Marsh Cave is that yellow dot to the south of us. So as you can see, the dark brown is dead marshland. But there's a gap south and to the west of where the cave is. So when you're traveling west from Elfheim, and you go through that little valley there, and then you keep going west along that southern mountain, you'll find an opening there that will get you into the marshland area and whatnot, so we'll see you guys when we get there. Alright, so we've made it to the Marsh Cave. Just for reference, we are down here in the south. I was slightly off about where the entrance was. It's actually east of Elfheim. Just if you follow the mountains, you'll get into this little dead-end gap, and then you have to keep following the mountain north and around. So if you actually go up to where the first river is to the north, and you head west from there, you'll find the little gap that will get you down here. So that's my bad. Memory isn't that good, but it's good enough. So this is where we are. I've used 2 tents to recover all my health. I haven't used any magic. We're all saved up. Here we go. So I'm going to show all the battles for the time being, because you need an idea of the encounter rate, the type of enemies you're going to find down here, which are most of the enemies down here are dangerous. Zombies and ghouls are pretty bad. They can paralyze you. As you can see, I'm burning magic now just to deal with it. Hopefully Dildo gets their attack off pretty soon here. Come on, Dildo. No! Come on, there it is. Flash! Oh! That's what we're looking for. Now you might be saying, we're spending spells kind of early for a dungeon that's actually pretty long. That's okay for the time being. Now let's explain this enemy. Gray oozes. There's gray oozes and green oozes. Gray oozes aren't a big problem, just a mild problem. They are weak to melee attacks and strong to magic, whereas they have another counterpart in this dungeon called green oozes that can only really be harmed by magic. Hence why I brought cottages with me, because sometimes you're left to your own devices to deal with them. And you can see they hit pretty hard. Hit our thief really hard. We're just gonna get him up to 200 health for the time being. Now there's 2 paths goodness, there's a green one right there. And our chances of being poisoned are probably pretty high, because everything can poison us right now. Yep, just look at the double. But as you can see, the green slime didn't do a lot of damage, it just likes to poison. I forget which one's worse. It doesn't matter, I guess, at this point. And then Magique. And so we're just gonna fight this out here. Ow. That's why we brought like 30 antidotes. Or 20. I think I brought 20, but I know I brought a shit ton of them. Because this is going to be a recurring theme here of being constantly poisoned. There's also, even as over-leveled as we are, there is no shame in running back to town. Okay, and I might do that just to be on the safe side, so I don't have to, like, make this episode longer than it needs to be. Oh, we only brought 20 antidotes, so we might be actually on the short side. Which would not be good. But that's fine, we can go to town. We'll go to town before we go to the deeper portion here. Because this actually leads to a dead-end floor, which is fine, but there's treasure here, and that's why we're here. There's also chests in this dungeon that have nothing in them. Nothing! And those are chests that can be fully avoided. And we'll worry about that when we get there. Probably should have let the 3 of them gang up on one, but oh well. It didn't poison us yet. and I forgot to mention at the Peninsula of Power, there are also some Gigases there as well. Don't worry about it, it's nothing major. So we're getting mostly items that we could probably sell because we bought them earlier. So you can think of this as a mild price reduction of what we spent in town. Because we're just getting like a rehash of that weapon. Or not a rehash, we were getting the exact weapons we bought in town. To a degree. The dagger, and then we're actually going to get a broadsword, is it? Yeah, broadsword, which I don't think is better than the mithril sword. But it's the sword level right before it. Yes, we've got gargoyles. We've got gargoyles. Let's just have these three work on one for the time being, and maybe they'll stop beating up on Dildo.
Dildo faggots! Put down your cock and take the wandering. No, Dildo, don't put it on. What's wrong with you? It doesn't go on your Johnson.
Oh god, we're being attacked. Murder! Murder! So much murder. Ow, he hit me. He hit me too. There's a kill, and then there's gonna be a kill. Probably shouldn't have wasted that, but that's okay. Wasting being like waste the attack on the thing, but that on the gargoyle enemy. But you can see, even though we're high level, we're taking lots and lots of damage still. So jokes aside, it's probably for the best that we leveled up the way we did, because imagine coming in here at like level 9 or 10 or 8. It'd be a pretty rough ride. You would almost think it's pointless to get these chests just because of that. Since we are going to go back to make a trip back to town, I don't mind doing this. You see, attacks do little to nothing. This is why we have level 2 spells. If you think about it, though, going to Elfheim, going to Astos, going back to Elfheim for whatever reason, all that back and forth could amount to something pretty big. But you see the broadsword is definitely weaker than the mithril sword. And the mithril sword is kind of one-shotting most enemies here, so... yeah... what do we got? Poison City, okay. With a heavy hitter. But yeah, if he hits murder, he does like no damage. Problem is there's no provoke in this game. So the art or act of us, you know, dealing with that is just not possible. Man, wouldn't it have been great to add the provoke mechanic? Force enemies to hit your main fighter, but that he sacrifices his turn, but he keeps provoke on for maybe 2 or 3 rounds before it fades away. That'd be kind of nice. Be a nice way to balance the game. Just throwing that out there. Yeah, we're burning through antidotes too. As we get to lower floors, I think other enemies. No, I think they're all the same, kind of going through. Actually. But yeah, so just thinking you can get through this dungeon with one, you know, with the Asuna spell, it's a little ambitious, to say the least. We'll go ahead and pop an anti-dot. We'll just use a cottage, bro. I think they're $3,000. I could just walk over there and pay 100 gil, and then use 2 more tents for 50. Ooh. Big baddies are in the back. We'll use die 2 because we don't have die 1. Again, saving fuckers magic for the big mobs that are magic-based. That only can be damaged with magic. Because if they stun the fighters and stuff, that's fine. Die 2 will wipe the floor with all of them. There it is. Though we are making enough money to use it. I want to. You can't make me. And we get another one of these. We'll probably use Fucker's Fire 2 in this instance. Just because if we need healing, we can get it. Because I burned through our Cure 1s. Just because I didn't plan on sticking around here. As long as they don't hit Fucker, we're good. Okay, so here's the deal. We're gonna go back to town really quick, and we're gonna heal up, and we're gonna come back. Okay, so I changed my mind. I decided against the going back to town. Walked like 10 steps, and I was like, fight. Walked another 3, fight, and I was like, you know what, fuck it, we'll go back and burn a cottage. So that's what we did. Alright, and we should have... I'm just checking our spells to make sure we're good, because, you know, this game requires you to actually check this stuff. And we'll go back into the cave. Now, there's another direction to go now, which will progress us through the mainstay of this tunnel. Now, we've got some green slimes who, at worst, will just poison us, which I'm not too worried about. 3 characters gang up on one through this whole fight. And then we'll just do that. Because at this point, it's like, I'm not burning good magic here just to kill these slimes. So yeah, we'll take some damage, but at the cost of killing these guys easily. And a crit... Oh, I forgot to mention, crits sometimes go through. They can do a crit can do enough damage to kill off one of these guys, usually. So, not a bad deal. My concern is our antidote stash. We may not have enough antidotes. It's kind of the reason I wanted to go back, but I think we'll be okay, because I'm not going to do like a blind... Obviously, I know where everything is. I've played this game many, many times. So it shouldn't be hard to point out the weird stuff as it comes up. And it doesn't even matter to gang up on him. It's just better to be safe than sorry. And you just barely do enough damage to kill the damn thing or something, and you're banking, you're hoping, your hopes are aiming a little high, as they say. Go. Ah, crap. As long as they attack murder, I could care less, except for that. Blind. I could probably flee from this. There is no shame in this game in running away from a fight that's kind of silly. Come on. There we go. I believe that these status effects stick with us too, don't they? Oh, no, they don't. Do they? I can't tell. Well, when you're poisoned, it says poison, so I would assume that it didn't. Alright, so, you see, that's how long it's been since I've played this, but it's pretty specific. So now we're on the second kind of floor, okay? On the other side, whatever you want to call it, I don't care. This floor is nothing but a brothel of lies. It's a smorgasbord of fallacies. Here, there's chests. There's 3 chests in like that small room there. There's 3 chests in this room, and they're all empty, so they can go fuck themselves. Golden rule: if you know where things are, don't waste your fucking time with it. And that's the gold standard right there, man. Now, there's only 4 of these guys, so I'm wondering if we could, depending on this first round here, we should be okay. And it's alright, it doesn't hurt many folk anyway. Okay, good. Good. Very, very good. Mayday! No! That's okay. And he's down. So, for a little extra damage more than what would normally be considered comfortable, we'll get through it. Alright, now this room needs some explanation, as there are lots of chests here. And usually you bump into a fight by the time you get to the chest, so it's eh. Oh, yay, poison. So much poison! And there's some good gear down here, but I believe we have most of this anyway, except for a few pieces. There are various pieces down here that are good, so, but that'll be explained in a minute. There's also 4 rooms down here we do not have access to, so yeah, there's not much you can do about that. And that's where the best stuff in this dungeon actually is, technically, which means we have to make trips to come back here and get it. There's 3 chests, I believe, because I think one room is a lie. I believe one room is a lie. There's 3 chests down here that we'll want to pick up later. Carrying the present. You notice I'm not healing my characters yet because they're not taking damage, that much damage. The Great Oozes are probably the biggest thing. There's a steel plate, which I believe we already own one. Yes, we do. And we can't put it on anyone else anyway. So now here's the deal. Is that the next chest be all the way... Get out of the way, bat fucker. All the way over here. There's nothing in those 2 rooms, but there'd be something in here. Yay! Now the problem is that there's more treasure in this dump. The important thing to take from this is that the better stuff is actually kind of out of the way to get from where we are. Kind of, so if you don't need the 295 gil, or whatever, I think it was 295 gil that we picked up, you can skip it. I'm picking it up because I like money. I like money. I like power. I like money, power, and hookers and blow. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know what the fuck I was saying. I like money and power. Who doesn't like money and power? Power! So yeah. That was a weird comment, wasn't it? Money and power. Well, I mean, look at, we're running through this dungeon that is notoriously known for being different. Is notorious or infamous for being difficult because we power leveled and we have a shit ton of money. So, I mean, come on. I'm gonna laugh if the 3 of them actually can kill that green slime. Quite. Use ice just to change it up a bit, in case I want to use sleep later against something. I don't think we will, but hey. Yeah, that's so many resources for so little awesome, right? There we go. 150 is my threshold here. So we need to get all the way back to the other side. Almost. We got a green slime and we've got these fools. So not battle, I'm not too worried about. Other than that, everything can poison us. Kill my poison. Luckily, we're not getting poisoned as much as I thought we would be, so that's good. We'll antidote the hell out of that. Anti-dot. And then we want to head down. Down. So what we did from the building where we got the gold, we've moved across. We moved south to the room below, and we're moving over to the second room to the left. And by doing this, it gives us access to some more treasure. And this is actually the better treasure in this part of the dungeon for the time being. Mainly because of its function more than it is because it's gear, but it's not the most important gear, so to speak. It's hard to explain. You'll find out in a minute. I don't want to ruin the surprise. Okay, fine, I'll tell you. It's a fucking Phoenix Down. Or in previous installments of this game, it's a life spell. And that's exactly why we're going to get it, because if somebody dies in battle, we have the means of recovery. So, yay! Oh wait, never mind. There is a Phoenix Down in one of these chests, but... Cool. Now I forget where the chest is. Oh, no. I know where it is. Never mind. Never mind. I'm just being stupid. Wait. If it's not in the... Where would it be? I have so many questions that my brain can't flex the muscle here to try to remember. Okay, there's nothing in the room below us. This is the last room we want to go to, as far as rooms with stuff in them are concerned. I'm trying to think where the... I know there's a Phoenix down here, but I forget where. Swinging. I don't know why I healed that, but I did. So that's the last room we want to go to. This one, well, one of these is gold. Okay. Then this one has to have the Phoenix. No? Maybe it's a version difference. They took the life potions out. Whatever. I don't care. I really don't care because we'll make do without them. I thought there were Phoenix Downs down here, or life potions, but between the different versions of the game, you know, that may be why I'm getting confused between all the different versions of this game. My brain hurt! Alright, let's go ahead. Let's go to the last area here that we need to go to. Because that way we can get the hell out of Dodge. Okay, so there's the point of interest here. Let's heal up. Yeah, maybe it's in different versions of the game. I could have sworn there were items in there that I could use. So you notice I'm actually making sure to heal most everyone up fully, which we were able to do. We're looking good. It's as good as it's gonna get. So let's get while the getting's good. Because we're forced into a battle with Pisco Demons. So if you're from Peru and you like Pisco Sours, this is your fight right here, man. No, jokes aside, Pisco Demons, they hit really hard. I think they were called the Magicians in the original game. Magicians, these are not. Nothing really that can be done there. Let's go ahead, and we could put steel on our main character, but let's... on our main fighter, but let's go ahead and hit him with a bolt too, shall we? If we can, let's see. They hit hard. As long as they're hitting murder, I'm okay. Maybe share a little bit with Stabby once in a while. Nice, 2 gone. 3 gone. Bolt that fucker. To the moon! Normally they hit really hard, so if you're at low levels, this is why the grind is so important. Is the game is much more manageable, whereas if you came here on your own accord, this would be a really rough fight. And we get a freaking crown! And so now that we have the crown that dude wanted back at the castle, which by the way was... I mean, come on. You couldn't tell by then. I mean, you know that that's Astos. I mean, what kind of self-righteous dude lives with bats? I mean, really. With monstrous bats, by the way. Not like the cute little fruit bats, and they are adorable when they're not, like, afraid of you. And you give them some bananas. Just look it up on YouTube. It's a wonderful, cute little thing that they do. Feed that bat, and he got it all stuffed up in his cheeks. So now we got to get out of this dump, but before we go and deliver the crown, best thing in the world you can do is go back to town. If you're lower level than I am, you're going to need to. And you're going to want to restock up on your potions and your antidotes. Pretty much anything you need. Kill the crawler. The crawler must die. And we can actually, speaking of die, because he can stun. Skeletons are down. Actually, Stabby hits hard enough that we could kill him. He could take him. So I'm just going to show you that we get out of here okay. Oh my god, I'm doing this all wrong. Get good, boy, get good. Nope. There we go. Sweet. And then we need to head up and out. Well, attempt to head up and out. You know what? Just to be sure that we get out of here relatively easily, we'll double down on our AoE magic in case somebody gets paralyzed. Hence the reason why you die is worth picking up. Some people would argue that it's not worth it to a degree. I totally think it is. Even though it didn't kill every single one of them, it killed most of them. And there's nothing wrong with ghoul murder. And in many cases, it does usually kill them all. So even die 2 is a guaranteed killing of all of them, unless it misses or something weird like that. But most of the time, it's not a problem. So we're almost out of here, guys, and I bet a bunch of you are going to be like, woo! And we're going to use a regular tent when we get out of there. I don't see the point in recovering magic. There's no real enemies on the overworld that are a threat to us. In the overworld that are a threat to us. It's mainly just to save in case there's a crash or something bad happens. I mean, even the NES cartridge can crash, okay? Or something could happen. You could have a power out, you know? Because saving is your friend. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to pop a tent. And again, primarily for the save. You notice we didn't level down there either, which is interesting. You know, some people say the XP down there is pretty good. I tended to say it's not. We only gained about 2 grand of XP, which at a lower level sounds like a lot, but when you're being hit as hard as you're being hit, it's not. So we're gonna meet you guys back at town. So we'll see you guys there. Alright, so we're out in front of Astos' place. And, I mean, come on, guys. You know it's him. Even as a kid, I was suspect, but I didn't really believe it. But what kind of asshole lives in a dump like this, right? Ha, fools, I'm the great king of dark elves, Astos! And Astos is a cheap-ass bastard. Thank you ever so much for retrieving the crown. With the crystal eye here, I shall become the true elf king. You fools have served your purpose. To the underworld you will go. And he's cheap as hell, because he actually opens his first attack, usually, not all the time, but usually is Reaper, which is death. Instant death. And yeah, depending on who he uses it on, could make this battle short or long. So somebody's getting screwed out of XP no matter what. I'd rather it be Dildo or Stabby. Those two I'm okay with them missing out. Because we kind of need everybody else on point here. We're going to put Steel on Murder. And so Astos is going to waste his time dicking around trying to slow characters. And that's fine. Because he can't undo Steel. And we don't have any Phoenix Downs or any revive items because, you know, we didn't find them earlier where I thought there were some, but so we can counter slow, I believe, like that, and boom, he's dead. So as long as Fucker and Murder stay in the fight, this battle's in the bag, but you're gonna lose someone along the way. Get a lot of money, get a little XP, only 750, so it's not like our white mage is that far behind. But he's behind enough because he's going to lose some XP trying to get back to Elfheim to revive him. But we get the Crystal Eye. So what does that mean? Well, it means that we can actually go and give this back to, what was her name, Matoya? I want to say. We'll get it back to Matoya. Poor Tilto. We'll get it back to Matoya. And all that good stuff. So we'll meet you out. If you don't remember where Matoya's cave was, it was west of Provoca. We went there earlier, the place with the little brooms and the little witch. I'm going to meet you guys over there with a fully revived party. Oh, Dildo died. Alright, so we're back at Matoya's cave. Very uneventful walk, I assure you. And let's see here. Let's see how she's doing.
Is that my crystal eye? Give it to me.
Here, I'll give you the most wondrous potion from my collection. Contain Jolt Tonic. She gave us a Red Bull? What a bitch. Now I can see everything. Get out of here. I have nothing else for you. Wow, that's so generous. Well, we're going to take this Jolt potion. We're going to take this Red Bull to the Sleeping Prince in Elfheim. So we'll see you guys there. For you guys it'll be instantaneous. For me it'll be another 3 or 4 minutes. More. Yeah, right, we're back in Elfheim, specifically the castle of Elfheim. Let's talk to this dude here. The Jolt Tonic. This will surely awaken the prince. We must try it at once. Just shove it down his fucking throat. Drink it, you fucking drink it. Sorry, I got a little angry there. I'm sorry. No, I'm not. Your Highness. Ugh. It seems as if I was caught in a never-ending dream. Am I still dreaming, or do I see the legendary warriors? It is not a dream. Then the time has come to pass the mystic key to its rightful master, as foretold by legend. And so we get the mystic key. And you guessed it. We cannot thank you enough for your deeds, brave ones. You have brought peace back to Elfheim. So, what is the Mystic Key and what does it do? Well, it's actually quite entertainingly simple. It opens up doors. Well, what do you think it is going to do? Open up the mystical butt crack to an abyss where only the biggest morons of the universe hang out? No, of course, it just opens doors. And what it opens is pretty cool. So this was a locked room earlier in the game, but now that we have the key, we can get in. We get things like bronze gloves. We can get a better hammer. What else did we get? That was it. And I guess the rest was money. And there were locked doors all over the world. I mentioned them. There were locked doors in the castle where we fought Astos. There's locked doors in the Marsh Cave. There's some locked doors in Cornelia, and there's some locked doors where we fought Garland, amongst just a few. There's more than that in the world, but those are the primary. There's, I think, one other one that's kind of relevant. But the idea is that we're going to go and collect all of these, and I'm going to show you what's in them. So hang tight while we knock this out before we finish the episode. Alright, we're back in the bottom of the Marsh Cave. We're just going to grab us a few treasures. Now, they are guarded by Concentrated Rage. Again, nothing that's not impossible to handle, especially now that, you know, we're even stronger, per se. I mean, and yes, of course, if they beat up Murder, which I want them to do. But yeah, so because we have the Mystic Key, we can now get the treasures that can be found here. And we'll be good. And there's actually a thing, I believe it's in this version of the game too, where if you re-step on the tile when trying to leave, you fight them again. And Pisco demons give good XP, I'm not gonna lie. Not XP, gold. I don't think they give good XP. So we get the silver armlet, put on healer. And I think, yeah, are we gonna fight him again? We're going to fight him, but in a different configuration. So, yeah, this is a thing, apparently. I mean, in this version. I believe it's in the PSP version as well, and I know that some people have modded it out of the versions, because it's kind of like a specialty fight. Why do you have to... If you want to grind off of it, you theoretically could. For a shit ton of cash. So if you're not sure where I am in the Marsh Cave, I am on the bottom floor where we fought the Pisco demons the first time. Okay, but I'm at the very bottom of that big room. And then you'll see these 3 rooms laid out like such. And then there's 4 rooms down here, and I think one is empty. But I was wrong about the Phoenix Down, so I don't know what the fuck I'm going to run into, but we'll see. But we should be fine. One way or the other we'll be fine. And yeah, so we're going to grab these treasures, and then we're going to head to Astos' place and pick up his treasure. Treasure! And Mithril knife. I think we already... No, we don't have one. I'll improve that with the accuracy buff. That's pretty much what it is. We now need to make our way to the next room. And I'm just showing you all of this so you can kind of see. But then when we get out of here, we'll head to Astos' place. We should have enough HP, and we have tents and stuff, so I'm not too concerned about magic. We won't need it going north. So there's nothing in this room except Pisco demons, or Psycho demons, which is what I think they were going for. Because really, it's just missing the Y, isn't it? And see, even the Mithril Hammer is not doing that much more damage. But fucker is actually doing damage! Holy mother of Burl!
It must be his birthday.
Yeah, that's not gonna last very long. So don't get too excited. Stabby, stab, stab. But it's gonna help, at least for us getting... So this is the first place outside of Elfheim that I went to unlock doors, by the way. Just as a heads up. As we get pretty much the boss battle from last time. Give him the shocker. Creepy deep. We'll finish this guy off. Nice. Look at that. Fucker got a kill with a knife. That's not on him. There we go. Sweet. And we get a bunch of moolah. Let's go ahead and head out. And that's all there is here in the Marsh Cave. We'll see you over at Astos Castle. Which is like the Northern Keep or whatever. Alright, we're here at the Keep. What is it? Is it Western Keep? I said Northern Keep, didn't I? Whatever, I don't care. We're at the dump. And we're going to loot it of all of its goods. Which were locked up behind a locked door. Hence why we couldn't get it before. And yeah, there's going to be some fights. Should have saw that one coming. Totally didn't even think about that. And thus I have no die spells, but I do have some other die spells. Suck on this wraith, fuckers. My nipples are so hard. The taste of murder. Yeah, now, again, we don't want to walk on the spots in front of the chests. We get the falchion, the power staff, and the steel gloves. So, the steel gloves there. We could put the... We can't do anything with the other gloves we just got. The falchion is... It's a I don't know how to pronounce it. I think it's falchion. But, so we'll put the falchion here. We get like 10,000 people thinking they can tell me how to pronounce it, those fucks. We can put the spare copper armlet on Stabby. So you can see it's not better than the armor in defense, but it is improved in evasion. Now let's take a look at the power staff. The power staff does more damage, but it doesn't hit as often. So I'm more likely to keep the mithril knife on because two slightly weaker attacks is better then one slightly stronger attack. It's going to be more damage overall, I assure you. So from here, we now need to go quite some distance all the way back to where everything started. Cornelia, we'll see you guys there. Cornelia, we'll see you guys there.
God damn it, Star Fox!
Okay, we are back in Cornelia. I think I said that right this time. Cornelia, yeah. So, yay. So we've got some doors to unlock. Now, these doors are all unlocked from earlier, but it's the doors at the back of the castle we're mostly interested in, where that old man is. For those are the rooms we need to get access to. Derp, you gotta go around the backside. And this is actually story relative, so you can't skip this part. This is of all the stuff we are actually gone out to get, this is required, for lack of a better term. Because you need this in order to move on in the game. So the Mystic Key serves a purpose. You could talk to some NPCs in various remakes of the game to get more info on this, but it's never fully clear. And we'll get another mithril knife, not that we need one, but so we get a crozier, which we're not going to use. We get another mithril knife, and we now have another saber. So this is all stuff we don't really need, but we're upgrades that we could have gotten for free here, but instead of paying for it. But this is the key item here, nitro powder, which is really just me after Mexican food taking a big shit and drying it out. And then we get another steel plate, our third steel plate. So there's, again, ways to get that stuff for free. I believe we have an iron shield already. So this is all sellable. Everything in here, I'll keep the power staff just for laughs, but everything else in here is 100% sellable. There's no reason to keep any of it. So that's just more cash for our wallet, as we've got to make, yet again, another stop. And that's going to be the temple, what is it? The Temple of Fiends, or Temple of Chaos. So we got, which is where we fought Garland. So we'll see you guys when we get there. And here we are. We've made it now to the Temple of Chaos. I wanted to call it the Temple of Fiends again. So instead of getting the treasure on, we got the treasure on the left side of this place when we first came here. Now we're going to grab the stuff on the right side. And this stuff is a little bit more eventful than the stuff in Cornelia was. But that's because the game is actually trying to reward you for, you know, going out of your way to come back and get some of this stuff. So yeah, you'll watch me fight these battles with mostly with ease. Maybe a group of ghouls or something will make a fight take longer because of the paralysis, but we'll deal with it when we get there. Because pretty much every character, including Fucker, now can get a pretty decent hit on some of these enemies. And enemies are starting to realize that murder is my middle name, and that's what's happening in this game. And they're going to start heading for the hills. Mostly the weakest ones, and really it's like they're just making this take less time by doing that, so I don't mind, because the XP in the Guild at this point is so nominal. The XP actually isn't as nominal as you would think, but it's nominal enough that it's kind of pointless to put any thought into this and be like, oh man, I need to make all this money and all this XP by just hanging out here and killing things. It's like, this area is so outdated now, it's not worth it. But now we have access. We're gonna get into some gargoyle fights, if I'm not mistaken. Yup. And they got nothing on us, really. That I can recollect or remember. So, and we fought a bunch of these in the Marsh Cave too. So it's not like these guys are a huge threat to us anymore, especially with the gear we've been picking up between the Marsh Cave, Astos dump heap, which is the Western Keep, and whatnot. So it's just trying to get it all sorted out and trying to grab what we can and get out of here. So we get the Rune Blade, which is good against weird monsters, but it is weaker than, or spellcasting, I'm sorry. That's the other sword we're about to get. So it's good against enemies that use magic. We haven't really ran into very many, and the few that we did, we killed like the white wolf, the snow wolves technically use magic, but that's subjectively debatable. But it'll be good against casters and stuff like that. My beef is I never end up using some of these weapons, And that's just a beef that I have, where it's kind of like, you could use this, you could re-equip your character with this, but in the time it takes you to sort all that out and then get it out, you tend, except in maybe certain very specific situations, you can mostly just beat the crap out of the enemy with your melee attacks anyway. So again, it's just something that's just there and kind of obtuse. And I say obtuse because it's just kind of silly. Alright. Murder, 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 murder. Okay, we're almost to the next door, so we'll get there in due course, of course. Some people just instantly just clip right to it, but, you know, we'll do a little bit more work than I have been doing. So, gargoyles. Wish City. And there's the kill. Yeah, that falchion is doing pretty good for us. And we get a gold needle, and we get to fight the battle again. So there's no way out of that. That's why I'm just kind of showing it to you, because, yeah, you're kind of stuck with it. And I'm trying not to burn any major spells or anything, just to show you that it can be done with this melee gear. Based on the level that we are, of course, at, by the way. Mind you. Gargoyle should be a weird hit. Alright, now we can grab the chest. And we get the Weir-bane. So this is going to be a sword against enemies who are of the Weir variety. So Weir-wolves, for example. Same stats as the other one, I believe. Yeah. So, surprisingly, Stabby can equip the Rune-bane, but not the other sword. So we'll give him the Rune-bane because it's better than the falchion for right now. Just for now. So if we hit any magicians, he's got the sword. So here's what we're going to do. This is a great place for us to stop right now, because everything that's going to happen going forward is going to be all brand new. So we will meet back up in Cornelia, and then from there on, we're going to be continuing our quest, as we now need to find a way to get out of the Bay of Shame that is the starting zone. Because if you sail around this little sea that we're in, there's no way out of it. So we need to find a way out of it. And a little exploration, a little talking to some NPCs will actually give you some clues on that. But we're going to go right to it. So thank you guys for stopping by. I am your host, the RPG Guy. And when we come back, more questing. Ho! Well, I hope you guys enjoyed that video. Please take a moment to check out more episodes from the RPG Guy, Tuesday Night Team Up, and more. And please subscribe. Always support the channels you enjoy watching, and while you're at it, follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and Google+. Keep on gaming hard. See you next time.